How to choose your lawyer. Do you have a legal issue to resolve, but you don't know where to begin? Are you intimidated by talking to an attorney? Are you kind of shaky, a little bit scared, a little bit skeptical? Have you had a bad experience in the past and now you don't know who to trust, if you can trust anyone at all? Or are you just so bogged down by the weight of your problem, by all of the emotional aspects of your legal issues that you're not even thinking about what you need to look for in a lawyer or that you need to look for anything at all? These are very common scenarios. Take it from me here, a lawyer who often counsels clients in a myriad of situations, a lot of times just losing a loved one. They're grieving that loss, and now they need to figure out how to move on with their affairs in the midst of all this grief. Talking to clients who have felt humiliated, harassed, discriminated against, or who have been in a legal battle for so long that they're just tired and they don't know what else to do. This happens all the time. You don't just come in with your legal problem, you come in with the emotions attached to it. Okay. And that can be emotions such as suspicion also and skepticism, because maybe you have been burned before, or maybe you've seen all of the bad things that there are about attorneys out there and how they just want your money and all this stuff. And you just come in with that mindset and you rather not even deal with that part of it if it's true, right? If it even happens. And that's okay. But ultimately, you're still going to have your legal problem and you're still going to need help. So your question then is now, do I go about it alone? And if not, how can I get proper legal counsel to help with my problem? So we're going to talk about that here today and how to choose a lawyer. The first thing I want to say is a lawyer is still a person. Okay. We're still people no matter what. We have similar experiences as you within our own families, within our own lives. All right. So it's not just we're here to help like these people. We sit high and mighty and we help. No, we're still people too. We're still human beings. We're still imperfect. We still have our own issues to resolve. It's just that we know something that can help you with your problem that you may not know. And a lot of times it's on a much higher level because we're dealing with big issues here. So if you're talking to a family lawyer, you're dealing with significant issues, whether it be marriage, divorce, children, child custody. I mean, these are very weighty issues. These are not issues that you want to play around with. When you're looking for a criminal defense lawyer, whether you did something or did not do something, you're being accused of something you did do or accused of something you didn't do. Your life may be on the line. Certainly your time, if you're looking at jail time, prison time may be on the line. Your reputation may be on the line, even if you never get convicted of anything. These are not issues to play with. When it comes to estate planning, when it comes to probate, somebody died, or somebody is deathly ill, or you're very much alive and healthy, but you're thinking 20 years out into your legacy, what's that going to look like for you? You're ready to protect it now. These are not playtime issues, right? These are very serious issues that you want to make sure you have the proper assistance for. So that's why choosing a lawyer is just as important as, and choosing the right lawyer for you is just as important as recognizing that you need some help with these weighty issues, okay? And we understand that. So once again, a lawyer is still a person. So yes, you have these big weighty issues, but you're still going to need the help of a person. Okay, it just happens to be a person who knows how to help you deal with these issues. And please excuse, I'm a little under the weather, but I'm still here for you today. Okay, virtually. So don't worry about any germs or contagions. We're fine. All right. So the first thing I want to say again, like I said, is a lawyer is still a person. So look for someone who is going to relate to you on that level. And there are several pointers here that I want to go down towards, and we're going to kind of build on it as we go along. So look for someone who's going to relate to you on that level, human to human. They're not looking at you necessarily as like lawyer to client, right? And you can feel that sometimes when you come into somebody's aura, when you come into their environment, and we all definitely want to attain our highest at all times, but we never look down on other people who are not where we're at ever. Okay, we always just continue to focus on us going higher. But if we know something up here that somebody needs help with, then we can help them up there, right? But we don't look down on them and like point down and shame them for that. None of that. All right. So look for someone who's going to relate to you on that level, the level of your understanding and then the level of their understanding and how they can bridge that gap. All right. So that is the very first kind of issue, is understanding the issue. And I don't just mean the legal issue, but a lawyer who may have similar experiences personally or professionally. So let's just say you lost your parent and now you need to know how to go about handling their affairs, whether you need to go to probate court, whether they have a trust. You need to know, what do I do now? Okay. And so a good lawyer is going to understand, okay, yep, I know what you're going through right now. I've lost a parent, or, I've counseled many clients in the similar situation. I know how the emotions are. I know how you may feel, and I know the kind of legal assistance you need. Okay. They're going to understand on that very basic human level. And, I've had clients tell me, and others ask questions about, was this lawyer right for me? And I always ask them, like, did you feel that connection? Did you feel like they really understood what you were trying to say? And some of them say, well, with the one attorney I did, with the one attorney I didn't. My answer is always the same. Go with the one who you felt that connection with, because they're going to understand you at that base level. And as long as you have that and there's no cracks in that, you can build on it. All right. So understanding your issue. Second is so important because it goes with understanding, listening to you. Okay, once again, not talking down to you about the law, not using all kind of technical legal jargon to make them sound smarter and more credible, but listening to you and letting you talk. I remember I had a consultation with one of my clients years ago. This is a very good client of mine. I'm still doing work for, very appreciative of her. And when she first called me, this was probably like 8 years ago or so now, but when she first called me, there was a lot of talking on her end, right? But I was listening. And this was just a phone conversation. So there was like nothing I could give to her in that moment. We hadn't yet met in person. I hadn't yet reviewed any of her documents, but I did hear everything that she was talking about, and I was processing it. And it sounded like something I could help with, right? But I was listening. And at the end of the conversation, she was so grateful. She said, "Thank you for listening to me." And I've found that in my professional experience and in life, sometimes people just need you to listen to them. Sometimes they just don't have a listening ear. They have a big, enormous problem, and they just don't have anybody to help them with it. And that's not to say, I'm going to do that with every single person that has an issue. We're going to get into why that is. But when it comes to choosing the right one for you, the right attorney for you, they must be listening, not cutting you off, not saying, oh, time's up, no more. Listening to you, listening to what your issue is and what it is you need from that. Because, a lot of times, and I have my questions prepared, right? And I kind of get a very general understanding of what clients are looking for when they call me or when we meet. Excuse me, I kind of already have a very, very minimal but solid understanding of what it is they're looking for. But when we get together in person and we start to unravel, I'm listening, and then while I listen, I'm seeing more of where their issues are lying and how we can address them. So the listening part is key. Okay, so the first issue, well, first of all, come to your lawyer like a person. They are still a person, so don't be afraid. There's no reason to be afraid of any man or woman, period. Okay. And I say that loosely. Obviously, I'm not talking about, if it's an abusive situation or anything like that. But ultimately, we are human beings. So relate to us on that level first. And we relate to you on that level. All right. So once we have that kind of baseline, then understanding your issue, listening to you, and then trusting with your confidences. You must, once this is broken, there can be no more relationship. You must trust your attorney. You must be able to believe you can trust them, okay? If you just met them or if you just kind of called them and you scheduled an appointment with them, you have to come in with that very basic level of trust. And not to say that they have earned it right away, but if this is somebody you're going to be giving such sensitive information to, because a lot of times it is very sensitive. We're talking about family issues. We're talking about sensitive family subjects and topics, right? If it's talking about divorce, you're talking about all of the ins and outs of that marriage. If we're talking about probate, a lot of times I have clients who come to me, with family members who are no longer mentally capable of handling their own affairs. They may need to take them to different appointments. They may have family members that can't even feed themselves anymore. They might have family members literally in the hospital dying. These are very sensitive areas, very sensitive issues, but they're telling me, this complete stranger, right? But I build very, very close rapport with my clients because they know that they can trust me with their issues. And that's how you have to feel when you select an attorney. When you speak with them, you must be comfortable with telling them your sensitive issues and even more comfortable with their responses. So again, when you're telling them these things, are they listening to you? Are they castigating you? If they're castigating and condemning and, well, I shouldn't, you shouldn't do, you shouldn't, leave them alone. Okay. They need to be listening to you. Now, if they do spot an issue, what they can say is, I'm telling you this with full transparency. I think this is a mistake you may be making, and this is something you may want to clear up. Listen to their language also, what's coming out of their mouth. That's going to be very important and very key, because you want to make sure that they're giving you something that's going to be helpful, not hurtful, not harmful. All right. But trust is a must. Once you break that trust, once you lose that trust, you no longer feel you can tell them the whole truth, then they can't work with you, because we need the whole truth to be able to work with you. Even if it's a bad truth, we need to know that so we can still be honest up front, and we can not skirt around the issue, but we can still smooth it out and work it in your favor. But we need to know. And if you don't tell us that, we can't help you as fully as you need the help, and as fully as you are able and deserving of that help. Okay. But once again, when it comes to very sensitive issues, I mean, how much money is in the bank, right? Who doesn't get along with who? What's going on in the marriage? How is the relationship with the children? These are not things you just talk about with strangers, but you must talk about them with a stranger called a lawyer, right? If you're looking for this kind of legal help, because we have to know these issues so it can help you as best as possible. But once again, if you don't feel like this person was really listening to you, if you don't feel like they were really someone you can trust with these issues, listen to you and, just don't select them as your lawyer, okay? And have this confidence in your mind too, that there is attorney-client privilege. Even if you never work with them again, they keep that issue confidential, okay, under very limited exceptions, all right? So that's the trust. Next is a big one. Look for a lawyer who has expertise in your area of need. Now, every lawyer is not for everybody, okay? I know I talked about how I listen to my clients and things of that nature, but I have a process. I don't just take every call. I don't just schedule every appointment, because I'm not for everybody, because everybody's not looking for what I can help them with. And I can't help everybody with what they're looking for, right? So an example I often use is family law issues. When it comes to divorce, when it comes to child custody, when it comes to all that stuff, I turn it down right away. It's not my area of expertise. I could, right? I could educate myself more thoroughly in it. And I know some of it. I've taken family law classes and things of that nature, but it's not what I'm passionate about. It's not where my work lies. It's not what I want to do. Okay. So I could do it, but I don't. And guess what? I could still schedule them for a consultation. And I do charge my consultations, but what good would that be to the client if I know that this is not something I'm going to take? I don't do that. Okay, so I'm very honest about saying so. I don't hold consultations for it, even though I could, but I'm not going to, right? I could say, okay, let's schedule this date. This is how much it costs. Get them on the calendar, and then try to, shove 24 hours or 48 hours of family law information into my mind. I'm not going to do that. That's not worth my time. And it's not something I'm passionate about. So I can't really bring the fullness of my work to help that individual. All right. So I turn down all the family law cases. I refer them out. I don't do criminal defense. I used to do it in the past. I don't do it in private practice. So I just say, I'm sorry, we can refer you out though. There are very, very limited areas that I focus in exclusively: estate planning, probate, and some civil litigation, which is mostly property and discrimination. Okay. Um, but even that, I vet them all before we even have a phone call. Okay. So everybody that's calling, everybody's emailing, we don't take everything, because every lawyer is not for everybody. Every person is not for everybody. You have to be very clear on what those boundaries are for you. If you are a practicing attorney, don't take everything that comes in the door. I don't care how much you might need the money. It's not worth it. I turn down clients that can pay me readily all the time because it's not what I want to do. All right. It's not my area of expertise, and I can't provide the help that you really need just because, you can pay me. That's not how it works. So look for somebody who has an area of expertise and what you need. I never forget again, I had a question come to me from somebody who was looking for an attorney, and they were saying, I wanted this attorney to help me kind of navigate divorce, and I found one, but she's not there anymore. And so then they paired me with this other attorney, but they don't really do divorce. They do criminal defense. And I said, okay, then don't select them because they're not going to be able to help you thoroughly with what it is that you're looking for. All right. So expertise in your area of need is very key. A lot of times my clients will ask me, even after we had the consultation, they'll still ask me, okay, so how long have you been doing this? Or how many cases like this have you taken? And I let them know, I've been doing it for 10 years. I do this X, Y, and Z. I have cases right now in front of the judges you have a case in front of. And so that gives them a sense of comfort and ease that, okay, this person knows what they're talking about. They are the person for me, and I feel good about it, and I know that they can help me. That's what you want to feel, okay? And so then a couple of more. Look for an attorney that will answer your questions with honesty and with ease, okay? So honesty means that they're going to tell you what they know, but they're also going to tell you what they don't know, okay? So if there's something that I'm not sure about, I'll say, you know what, I'm not sure. Let me get back with you on that. I'll put a pin in it. I'll highlight it. And then I'll say, I'm going to send you this information. And I'm not going to charge extra for it, right? Because this is something that I'm not sure of immediately. But I'm going to let you know because I want you to have that information. I want you to have that understanding so that you can make a more appropriate decision for what it is that you're looking for. So they're answering your questions with honesty, not make something up on the spot. And you can always tell because they'll just let you know. They'll just tell you right away. Okay. And then with ease, they're going to explain the complexities in a simple manner. Okay. Now, the legal world and law talk is all kind of its own language, okay? And a lot of it is even still the Latin of it, okay? I don't even want to get into all the words, all right? Because that's not what this is about. But that's just how different it is from everyday speech, is that there's still Latin language that is used in law. There's still French and French-inspired language used in the law, all right? Uh, but that's not what is used in everyday English, everyday Spanish, everyday whatever. It's a very kind of old, old archaic system and very bureaucratic and all this stuff. So it can be a lot of layers, a lot of complexities, really just a lot of difficulties that don't need to be there. But guess what? We're highly trained experts who know how to deal with it and really who know how to fluff out what it is that is not necessary and really dig in on what is. Okay. So a good lawyer is going to explain these things to you in a very simple manner and not to undermine your intelligence. Okay. But to get that understanding through. They're not going to prove how much they know with legal talk, but they are going to talk to you in a way that it's not going to confuse you. Right. They're going to clear off confusion. I remember I just had an email conversation with a client last week, and then a client asked me about a timeline conversation. And I just broke it down very plainly. Like, okay, well, according to this is what you did. This is how much time was needed. And because you did that, the time is fine. And the client said, well, thank you for the clarity. They're going to provide clarity in a way that you can understand. Okay. Not in a way that's going to make them look smart and not in a way that's going to make you look dumb. No, just a very clear understanding from A to Z. All right. And then the last one, they're going to be upfront about fees. Okay. I know a lot of clients don't want to hear that sometimes, or a lot of people looking for a lawyer don't want to hear that sometimes. But for a good attorney, they're going to tell you how much it is. They're going to let you know what it costs because there is always a cost. Even if it's like a $10,000 cost, how much are you willing to pay for keeping the problem? That's a big question. When it comes to the messiness of the law sometimes, I'm telling you right now, you're going to pay one way or another. You may think you're saving money, but you're really paying in time. You're really paying in lack of counsel. You're really paying in ignorance sometimes. I'll never forget, and this happened so many times before, but the one I'm thinking about is a few years ago, maybe 5 or 6 years ago now. A client scheduled a consultation, and I looked through their paperwork, They had done nothing in terms of responding to this lawsuit filed against them because they said, well, I don't make a lot of money, so I can't do it. I can't afford an attorney. I can't. Okay. So they just didn't file anything. But guess what? They might have saved all their money on legal fees, but they got hit ultimately with a $10,000 judgment because they failed to say anything at all. Okay. So a lawyer is going to let you know this is my fee, but this is kind of, what it costs without my fee. This is how much it's going to cost and dime without my fee. This is how much it is on the line without my fee. This is why I charge the fee. They're going to be very upfront about it. Is it monthly? Is it hourly? Is it flat? Is it contingent? They're going to let you know. If they're kind of hiding their hand about it, then right, that might be where that skepticism boils up on. But somebody that's going to be very honest with you, that's going to listen to you, that's going to understand your issue, they're going to tell you how much it's going to cost. They're going to tell you how much they cost, and they're going to tell you how much your problem costs. And they're giving you this information so that you can make the best decision for you in your interests. Yesterday I had a full day of client consultations. It went very lovely. We made very great connections. But I love what I do because I'm able to help so many people in issues that they're really struggling with, but I also know the value of that. And they do as well. They always walk away knowing more than what they knew before. And for me, that's what it's all about. I'm not here to waste your time. I'm certainly not here to waste my time. Okay. But I am here to help you break down these very sensitive and very expensive, honestly, issues. I mean, health is on the line. Money is on the line. Jobs are on the line. Property is on the line. And sometimes that's for generations. So am I going to say, oh, there's no value in that? No, there's definitely a value in that. And this is what it's going to cost. This is what you're looking at. Not just if you don't pay me, but if you don't pay anybody, you're going to be paying something, and something could be taken from you because you didn't pay something else or somebody else to save it for you. And I'm very honest about that, okay? Because I love what I do. And I love for my clients to have the greatest understanding as possible. And I don't nickel and dime them. I let them know that right away. Most of my fees are flat. It's a flat rate. So you already know what it's going to be. And you can take that or leave that, and that's okay, but it's not going to be like to the minute or to the penny because my time is worth more than that, okay? So let's just recap once again on how to choose a lawyer. And this is a very important issue. So I'll be talking more about that. And I'll also be talking more about how to prepare yourself for meeting with the lawyer, okay, in the weeks ahead. We're going to be getting a lot more into just the lawyer process, the court process. Yes, I do estate planning, but I also do probate work, which is court work, and civil litigation. I have a lot of that stuff coming up. And I'm finding a lot more and more that clients are really in the beginning stages of their legal issues. And so these kinds of conversations are more what's going on in their mind and realizing that, oh, this is the thing I should be thinking about right before I even think about my legal issue, about who can I talk to about it. Okay. So a quick recap on how to choose a lawyer. First of all, come to a lawyer as a person. We are still people. Relate to us on that level. We will relate to you on that level. Look for somebody who relates to you on that level. Okay. Look for someone who's going to understand your issue, who will have a similar experience personally or professionally. If you're not getting that connection with them, it's fine to walk away, okay? Look for somebody who's going to listen to you. Listen. They're going to do more listening than they do talking. They're going to hear you out, and they're going to give a greater understanding to what it is you need. Look for someone you can trust with your confidences. When we talk about legal issues, once again, there's a lot of sensitive subjects there. Who can you trust with it? I know some family members, right? We don't tell them stuff. Okay, but some of that stuff you don't tell them, you got to tell your lawyer. Can you? Can you trust them to do that? Do you feel that connection? If you do, it's a green flag. If you, it's a yellow flag. And you know the red flags when you see them. If you don't feel it right away, you can walk away. Look for somebody with expertise in your area of need, right? Don't go to a bankruptcy lawyer if you need a divorce, all right? Don't go to a criminal defense lawyer if you need an estate plan. Now, if they do that stuff, that's okay. But if you see somebody that's doing all kind of stuff, you might want to go somewhere else to somebody who really niches in and focuses in on exactly what it is you need, okay? Look for a lawyer who's going to answer your questions with honesty and with ease. Honesty meaning if they don't know something, they're going to tell you, and they're going to tell you what they do know as well. Ease meaning that they're going to explain it to you in a manner that is simple for you to understand, not to undermine your intelligence, but for there to be a connection there, for you to have a greater understanding and to walk out more empowered with information than when you came in. All right. And finally, they're going to be upfront about fees. Okay. Whether it's going to cost $100, 1,000, 10,000, a million, whatever it is, they're going to let you know. And they're not going to let you know just how much their services cost, but also how much you're looking at in terms of what it is on the line for your legal issue. Okay. So I hope this has been helpful. Again, this is Attorney Tina Patterson, Principal Attorney at Patterson Justice Council, PLLC, headquartered right here in Detroit, Michigan. We will see you again. We're actually a little bit late this week. We came on at 2 p.m., but we will see you again next Thursday, April 18th, and every Thursday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. Take care. Bye.